Maybe I'll just add to a few things to what Arnaud said. One of the do's. First, thinking about Taiwan, I think that Taiwan is an amazing combination of the Chinese efficiency and the American business culture. And that's very, very important. I mean, China is amazing, but China is China. And business-wise, how to do business, fairness, copying issues like that are a bit problematic. They are improving. And Taiwan is really amazing, this amazing combination of having the close to American business culture and great efficiency and great partnership. On the don't do's part, I'll add one thing, is don't get meningitis ודלקת קרום המוח, how do you say it? Meningitis in Taiwan. I did. I went because I was not, I was without awareness, בלי הכרה. Unconscious. I couldn't choose the hospital, but if you go to hospital, there is an American hospital, don't go to the CKS hospital because none of the physicians are going to understand what you have. You can talk to them if you are unconscious. And it was really very, very tough experience, but every experience gives you something, and in this case, by the way, I must say that my friends, Taiwanese friends, that supported me and took care of me, did an amazing job, and the final, I'm here. Yeah, so great. So we know each other.
Apparently.
Micha, how many, 20 years?
Something like that. Who counts?
Who counts? I'll begin with you. What's your experience in Taiwan?
Thank you. So first of all, and without getting into politics, I think it's quite important to understand that for us Israelis, all the Asian people are looking kind of the same. So from a business culture, Taiwanese are not Chinese, nor they are Japanese or Koreans, okay? They are Taiwanese. And that's extremely important. I'll give an example. When I joined the current company that I've been working for, one of the first things I did, I picked up the phone, called some guys that I know in Taiwan that used to be my representative in my previous companies and I'm in good touch with. And I said, guys, you have 1 week to get me a few MOUs with Taiwanese because I like to start working with the guys. And this was an aggressive task. It took them only 5 days. After like 5 days, I already got 2 MOUs for companies that I've been working with till now. So this is something which is quite amazing. I don't think that there is any other place in the world, culture, that you're working with that you can achieve something like that. So that's something to bear in mind.
Elad? Elad, actually, I think that you have experience in Taiwan both at the semiconductor and at the OEM. ODM.
Yeah. But in general, I think the first time we got to Taiwan, I think the first thing you notice is the weather. Because it feels like you landed in Tel Aviv. This is the only place that you can actually say is more hot and humid than Israel. So I think it affects the temper of the people. So it's kind of the same, and it was the first place that so we got connected really well there to people. I wouldn't even say to specific companies. I have today people who I actually really call friends in Taiwan. So we have investors from Taiwan, we have ODMs in Taiwan, we have silicon vendors in Taiwan. So really all over the place in Taiwan. You know, I before I got here today, like you spend time at night thinking what you're going to do tomorrow, and I thought of how we started our journey in Taiwan, I can say that along the way, many people talk about Dov and they think disc on key, but I think that almost every person that I talked to in Israel about Taiwan actually said that he started doing business in Taiwan because of M systems. So I'd say that one of the greater things, or not greater, greatest things about M systems was that it actually opened up Taiwan and a few other countries in the East. It's a good chance to say that, to reflect on that. But when I actually started, I just started by, I didn't have any connections in Taiwan. I started looking at the websites of the companies I wanted to work with, dug my way through there, and when I actually got to meet Dov, it was after we already opened connections with, I think, almost 20 companies there. And still, even though we were able to make connections, I saw that this is a culture that really values people and values their achievements. So you need to either prove yourself, which is hard because you need to have an engagement. And this is where I actually went with Dov to Taiwan, and I saw how much they value him. Today, I can say that these people that are friends of mine, I can actually vouch for others with them, but this is because you proved yourself. So I'd say it's amazing how oriented are they to execution, to delivering on your promises. And it's easy to work with this kind of culture because you know where you are without the need to actually, you understand what they think based on how you did.
Yeah, maybe some of my experience with Taiwan. I came to Taiwan first time 30 years ago, so I know Taiwan very, very well. And it wasn't only the bad experience of having meningitis. I did have some good experiences as well. Just maybe one thing which I won't forget. I went to a dinner with the guys from Advantech, the father of Tony Leo. What's his name? Casey Leo. Casey, now I remember. And we went to dinner, and by the way, there are amazing vegetarian restaurants in Taiwan as well. Buddhist, it's vegetarian. We got late after having dinner, and then we are going to search for the car, and we walk, and I'm just a foreigner. I'm there. I didn't try to remember. There is no car. Yeah, the car disappeared. And then, they found that on the policeman who took the car wrote on the street some signs that means we took your car. So I did have this kind of experiences, but basically, I found that working with Taiwanese is amazing. Interesting point that very few people know. Except Israel, the second largest facility of M Systems was practically in Taiwan. We had FAEs there. Ari, you were in Taiwan as well for a time, no? For some time.
I was the first one in Taiwan.
You were the first one making this chip. That's right, yeah. In Hsinchu. Ah, that's right. Yeah. C1. Yeah. So practically, it is an amazing place. And there is a lot of support from Israel on how to do business. And of course, anybody who is interested is invited. Let me ask you, first of all, did you have any bad experience with Taiwanese? Probably there was something.
Actually, not too many, especially if you know how to behave yourself. Most of them are a good experience. Again, it's always a question of setting the right expectations. But I do believe something which is kind of unique because most of the people, when they look at Taiwan, they mainly look at, let's say, TSMC for the semiconductor business or finding a partner to design something from you, whether it's a PCB, a box, or a system. But what I've found quite interesting and in most cases even more important is that they can become one of your greatest business development partners, especially for early stage startups. Given the fact that they are so similar to us in many aspects, and you mentioned innovation, I found that they are relatively innovative. And when they see an opportunity, they'll basically try to push your product through all the channels that they have. I did it many times. That they actually opened the market for me. They created the market. They even helped me to create a new category. And I think now we see more and more companies shifting the business to kind of white box being done in Taiwan by different companies. If you do it right, if you are really building a partnerships in which they understand that it's a win-win and that you are not just treating them as a yet another manufacturer, they can really be your go-to-market partners. They can really push it. And I'll give you an example. I worked with an American company, with a CEO. He was a very important customer of me. And when I was at Taiwan, I was meeting a CEO of a company. While we were sitting in the room, someone was knocking on the door, and he said, "You have a visitor." And guess who was at the door? It was the CEO of the American company. So he was actually, although he was buying the stuff for me, he was designing the products at Taiwan. So he was now in Taiwan talking to other guys about my product. Okay? And what I found later on, that in parallel to me working with him, the Taiwanese guys were actually pushing and promoting my products to many of my American customers. So this is really a partnership, and I really, really recommend people to consider that, not just using them as a manufacturer or design partner. This will change everything. It can also save you a lot of money, because instead of charging NRE, if they see an opportunity, they will be willing to even split the cost, or even more than that.
Elad?
Bad experiences. It's a startup. You have many not great experiences along the way, but nothing is bad. You start relationships with people sometimes.
With the power chip for the semiconductor, for the memory, and both with Pegatron. It's very, very different companies in their culture, whatever they're doing. Can you compare?
The pace between the companies is really different, but because it's a different industry. ODMs are quick. They are doing things fast. They want to see results fast. Silicon is, okay, let's talk about what will happen in a few years. We have this coming up. This is coming up. Coming up is not a few months from now. So everything tends to run at the pace of the business, I can say. But with both companies, I can't say I had bad experiences. Sometimes things don't, run as smooth as you want. But this is part of every business. I'd say that the positive part, when things go bad, you always have someone to talk to. They are always very, very practical. And it's nice because you don't get, Israelis will tell you, okay, in 2 weeks, okay, even us, in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. For them, they will tell you, it's 3 months. We need to push it. No, that's 3 months, that's it. So it's annoying. You want to tear a few hairs, but it is what it is, and it helps you build a better plan. So I can say that even when things are bad, it is what it is. And
Finally, last question. And by the way, we'll have time for you to ask anything you want. So give us one advice, but should be unique advice. Don't repeat anything you've said about relations with the Taiwanese companies. What can be done, what cannot.
Again, as I said, I think that not a trivial tip, but I think based on my experience, try to think on a broader picture with respect to partnership. Again, don't limit the partnership. That's something that we tend to do. We come up with some kind of a plan. That's what you're going to do for me. I'll try to be nice, but that's the end of the partnership. I think it's a huge, huge, huge mistake. And especially, I'm not talking about the big companies that we're all familiar with. There are tons of companies, mid-scale, small ones, that are really looking for partnership for companies to actually help them with innovation. This is the level of partnership that it should look like. And be open-minded. Be open-minded. Try to see what would be the right fit.
I'm sorry to say mine is not special, but eventually, and you know this, just like I do, it's about people. So you go out there, you make relationships, you try to work with the people that you believe are actually your partners. The friendship comes out from there, and this is eventually the key to keep doing business. Because if you do a one-off, just this project, and even if after that they will sell your product or push your product, they will not do so happily without being actually in a relation. So it will always go back to, instincts, people, friendship.
Excellent. Any question for the audience from anybody? Guys? Sure.
Hi, I'm Or. I'm from the Israeli Chamber of Commerce, the Federation of Israeli Chambers of Commerce. I do business development with Asia-Pacific markets, and we often get approached by private service providers who offer their services in entering East Asian markets. And we know that it can be quite challenging for new companies trying to approach Japan and Korea, and often they say you have to have people on the ground, you have to use mediators and so on. Would you mind telling us your experiences in Taiwan? Is it necessary? Do you often use Western mediators? Is it much more easier than other countries in the area?
Yeah, I think it's a question of who you're going to approach. In the past, I normally tried to use men on the ground, but it was local representative. By the way, when I was preparing for this session, there was a question of what do you think need to be improved or what we can do. I think one which is quite important is to have a kind of a list, kind of a recommended list of local representatives, similar to what you have with companies, because for startups, when they're trying to find someone, it's quite a challenge. You don't know who you can trust, especially the local guys. And this is extremely important, because if you find the right guy, he will open the door for you. In Taiwan, it's very easy. You know, he can set up meetings in days. You can come to Taipei and meet like a company almost every 3 hours. You need someone that you can trust. I have representatives, several of them, by the way, that I'm working together for more than 20 years without even signing contract. Okay? But you need to know who to choose. And personally, I prefer that it's going to be someone local. It's always the case. And if you can help by, again, providing this kind of a list where you find on websites, these are the feedbacks, this is the rank, this is how many stars he got. I think that would be extremely helpful, especially for startups with no experience in Taiwan. Not just in Taiwan, but...
I thought of a direct flight as something.
He's a more practical guy. We did what we did with United to San Francisco. It was quite successful.
Maybe my recommendation for such cases is I don't think that you need to assign somebody or look for somebody in between. But first, you have a delegation here in Israel. They are very helpful, and we didn't try them, but I see the people and their desire to help, and that's their mission. Choose them. It's very simple. It doesn't cost as well. Then there are amazing people in Taiwan that will help you. I'll give you one example that few of the audience know. Rendell Young, right? Yeah, Rendell. Are you still working with him?
No, but I used to.
Ask me, ask others, we'll get you the people that know the right people there, so it's easy to access them. They are very simple, easy, ongoing, want to help. They don't look to make tons of money, they're not representative, they won't tell you 5% or things like that.
He was a journalist, no?
Rendell?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No, he was the head of the office at of M Systems.
No, before.
Rendell?
As far as I remember, he was a journalist.
No. I don't know. Really?
As far as I remember, yeah. He was a journalist back in his career.
Wow. Okay. But anyway, you can access the people. You cannot go to a company like Pegaton by yourself. You knock the door. You don't send an email through the website. Yeah, but
we have. You do.
You do. You can do that. But if you go to somebody who works with them, like here, if you go to a delegation, you get to the right people, and it's very immediate. It's very, very direct, and it has great results. Things that you cannot do, by the way, with American companies, for sure. Any more questions? Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.